Okay, we're on the hook.
Hey, welcome back, folks. The last time I saw you, we were getting ready to head out to Colorado with our RV and our Jeep in tow. But since then, we've had a lot of new people join the channel and they want to know how the pond is doing. And I just want to say that we are filling the pond right now as we speak. Obviously, though, we haven't worked on the pond lately because we've been on vacation for 2 weeks, but there is still a lot to do with that, and I'll be getting back to it soon, so be patient, hang in there, and stay tuned. But for now, I thought I'd share a little bit of how our vacation went for us because, well, we had a few hiccups along the way. But thanks to several heroes that emerged, we were able to still have a very memorable vacation for 2023.
Dig Drive DIY.
So if you'll remember from our last video, I mentioned that I was always afraid to take our RV more than 4 hours away from home. If I could take the Jeep, it would give me a little bit more bravery to go beyond the 4 hours. It was a Saturday on the west side of Chicago in heavy traffic. We were 4.5 hours from home and a little over an hour from what was going to be our first stop. We had planned to meet up with some friends for lunch near the Illinois-Iowa border.
So we were driving down the road and I started noticing a bunch of smoke rolling out the back. And I just barely got it off I-80 here. We're right.
And now we were gonna be a little late for lunch and not knowing what else to do, I tried to reach out to them to see if maybe we could bring the RV to their place. But I never got an answer back from them. So with no other viable options, I gave the tow truck driver their address anyway and hoped they'd be okay with a broken down motorhome just sitting in their driveway.
Here we are. We're gonna go to the next plan, which I don't know what that is yet. But we're gonna hop in here and ride. I gotta come up with somewhere to take this thing now. Well, at least we have our escape plan with the Jeep. This is what I worried about taking that motorhome on a long trip, was having a breakdown and then being stranded.
So at this point, we didn't know what to do. Kara was so stressed out, she was ready to turn around and just head back home. I was hoping we could still salvage the trip, but I couldn't imagine heading out west in just a two-door Jeep. The only thing I knew for sure was that I could barely see out of the windshield.
All right, the Jeep got oil all over the windshield and over the side windows, and I can't see where I'm going, so our next stop is gonna be the Buddy Bear car wash. All right, we got oil all over this thing. So we haven't decided what to do yet. We're at stress level 10. Maybe this trip is doomed. I don't know if this means the trip is jinxed or if we're just getting all our bad luck out of the way right off the bat.
I think it's a sign to head home.
It's not a sign to head home.
We were still weighing our options and trying to figure out what to do when I finally heard back from my buddy. And fortunately, he was fine with us towing the RV to his place, so we couldn't wait to just get there and regroup.
RVs, no votes, no exceptions. Say, how do you ruin the afternoon of two families with one motorhome?
So for those of you that don't recognize where we are, this is Wes from the YouTube channel, Watch Wes Work.
Shouldn't have let Neil rig his own chain.
Yes, the friends we had planned to meet up for lunch just happened to have an automotive repair YouTube channel, and if you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. Wes has a fantastic channel where he takes you along as he diagnoses and repairs almost anything with an engine, all while delivering it with a dry, super witty humor and fantastic editing. Wes is a super talented guy with abilities that make him much more than a skilled mechanic. And even though I already knew it, he and his wife would bend over backward to help someone in need, which was really lucky for us because our circumstance with the RV was unfortunate, but we really couldn't have had a more fortunate place to land with it, given its current state. So despite a very strict policy of no RVs, Wes bent the rules and he agreed to work on Blue Bear and encouraged us to continue on with our trip. He didn't know if he could get it fixed in the time that we would be gone. We'd have at least 10 or 12 days to figure it out, and if we could, we'd stop by on the way back to get it. So with the secure feeling of leaving the RV in Wes's capable hands, we decided to pivot and go to plan B.
Okay, just a little update. The RV is officially dead. We tried to put it in gear and move it. It does not move. If the transmission wasn't ruined when it stopped, it is now because the tow truck driver towed it in neutral, which I thought was a bad idea. But anyway, here's the game plan. We're going to go to the nearest Harbor Freight, Home Depot, Farm and Fleet, and we're going to try to find a hitch luggage carrier for the back of the Jeep. We went from maximum hauling to minimum hauling. Well, I might put it together right here.
Oh, I think that sounds perfect. Ella thinks no. Bad idea. We'll get it taken care of, sweetie.
I'm worried about it clearing the spare tire, so I'm going to mount it this way so we got plenty of room. Alright, that completes our in-store assembly. We got to do this just to get it back to Wes's. Now we're going to head back to Walmart to get our totes, our strap. I didn't account for the curve. The curve is biting us. Because that's the distance we need on each end, a ½ inch.
Uh-huh.
There's a little.
Yeah, that's not terrible. Looks a little hokey pokey. But it'll do.
Is it going?
We got 25 tons. It'll go whether it wants to or not.
There we go. All right, we did a few modifications. Wes Bennett, just the right amount.
All you need is greater than 0.
0. We got it. Wow. Perfect. That looks nice and level now.
The one going to force it.
That is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Well, I tell you what, if you're going to break down in your motorhome, you should break down close to this guy's place.
Neil brought me a broken motorhome and the hottest weather we've had in 20 years. What a guy.
I never said I was good for much of anything. Thanks for all the help.
Glad to do it.
We're going to keep on going to Colorado. Leave the motorhome here. We'll check back in with you on our way back through.
Hopefully it's fixed.
I hope so too. I'm fine if it isn't, really. We got as little as we could out of the motorhome. It's all packed in the back of the Jeep. Everything is awesome. Okay, hook. It's just 12 hours to Colorado, which is just a nice little jaunt in a little 2-door JK Jeep. Well, thank you.
Okay. Enjoy your trip.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
In about, what, 10, 12 days?
Probably not that long.
We'll see, yeah.
So we've made it to Colorado. Fortunately for me, and you know the theme of all my videos, I have cousins. Well, I've got a cousin that lives in Longmont, Colorado, and they have graciously invited us to stay with them since we're not able to stay in our motorhome. So we're gonna make the best of a bad situation and spend about 4 or 5 days here with them in Longmont. And then we'll continue on, reevaluate our trip and figure out what we're gonna do. And we'll head on down to Colorado Springs, rent a hotel for a few days. We'll make the best of it. But they've got cousins the exact ages as our girls, so I think all's gonna be well here. We'll make a trip out of it regardless. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Plus I got a great looking place to stay. Look at this. This is a nice house. And it is beautiful. We are here at the Laverne M. Johnson little park. Today we're just going to start exploring and see what there is to see. We've been in the car for 2 days straight, so we're going to get in a little exercise, take a little walk, and then maybe we'll find a skate park. We don't have anything like this in Harlan. We made it to Pearl Street in Boulder, Colorado. A lot of really fancy stores and shops. Probably too fancy for us, but we like looking nonetheless. Check it out, see what they got. Maybe I can get a new hat. All right, we're done with our little shopping spree. What all did you get? Ella got a bear.
His bear. His name's Willie.
Evie got a no. I got a dad shirt. What'd you get, Kara?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. We all got ice cream. All right, now it's on to find something more of a sightseeing type thing. And hopefully it doesn't cost as much. Okay, we have made it to Rocky Mountain National Park. It's beautiful. We got in just under the time deadline of 9 a.m. and so we had our pass. But now we need to check out some of these views. Check it out. So we headed up to the top of the Trail Ridge Road. We did a little hike, and now we're going to head back down to Estes Park, grab a little lunch, and then we'll see what the afternoon brings us. She's looking for
Any of these.
cool. Can you believe even some of this stuff exists in the rocks? It looks fake. Well, we had a good time at the Mines Museum. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
We learned a lot. I learned a lot. But now it's time to go get something to eat. Anniversary lunch in Golden, Colorado. I've always wanted to see Red Rocks, the amphitheater, because I've seen some great shows on YouTube. It just looks like an amazing place. We didn't get to see the actual amphitheater because there's a show tonight by a band called Camp, so we're disappointed about that, but the place is beautiful nonetheless. I'm glad we stopped here just to check it out. All right, now we gotta go find supper. go. Okay, so we've been driving around in the mountains for a few days, seeing a lot of the sights, doing a lot of shopping, enjoying our stay, but the Jeep has developed a nasty habit since we've been out here, and it's when you have to get on the brakes quickly and abruptly, it's starting to pull hard to the right. And I've never really noticed it too bad around home. I think it may have done it a couple times, but here, having to use the brakes more frequently, it's really getting bad. So the next order of business, although I don't want to do it, is to try to fix the brakes on the Jeep. So we're going to go to an auto parts store. I'm going to do calipers and new pads and probably hoses for the front, because I think it's one of those, it's probably not pads, it's probably calipers or a front brake hose. And since it's pulling to the right, it means something's faulty on the left. Yeah, as you might have noticed, my cousin John has a lift in his garage. This is going to make this job a lot easier. So I'm going to get the wheels off and see if we can take a look at the brakes. I'm going to start out with the calipers first and see if that fixes it, and if not, I might have to do a hose. Time to see if it made any difference. Alright, so I changed out the caliper and doing a test drive. It's still basically the same. It's a little bit different, maybe a little bit better. But when I really have to get on the brakes, it's still pulling to the right. The internet seems to think that the other likely culprit is a brake hose on the side where it doesn't pull. So I got a brake hose from O'Reilly. I'm going to try switching out that, and if it isn't that, then that's about all I can do. I changed out the brake hose on the left-hand side, and that was it. Now it's not pulling to the right anymore. I know I didn't record any of me working on it, but it looked the same. I took the wheel off and changed out the rubber hose on the driver's side, and it's fixed. When the motorhome broke down on that first day, we didn't know what our trip was going to look like. Weeks of preparation and everything we had planned was completely upended. It was enough to make us almost want to bag the trip altogether. But a simple gift of hospitality can quickly right the ship. The first half of vacation was stress-free and smooth sailing, all thanks to John and Brenda and their 3 boys for the 5 days of bed and breakfast and making us feel so welcome. We had an absolute blast, and we can't thank you enough. To Colorado Springs. Here we go. Everything out of the Jeep. Totes are really a good way to move stuff. We're here in Colorado Springs at Best Western Inn. It looks really nice. Let's hit the pool. So we're headed to Pikes Peak this morning. Kara and I were there 20 years ago. We're almost to the top. It is super steep. When we did this 20 years ago, I don't remember being nervous at all. I'm more nervous now. I think it's just because the kids are along. But it's the last turn. We made it. 14,111 feet. There's already a bunch of people up here. And the temperature is 49 degrees. Wow. We made it to the top. Were you scared, Ella?
Yeah.
Were you scared, Mommy?
Yes.
I feel like
I'm going to be more scared going down.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Let's go check it out. Still pretty cool to be up here at the top. Don't you think?
Yeah.
They're all ready to head back down now. Well, we've enjoyed the visit to Pikes Peak. We'll all feel a little out of breath. Could be expected at high altitudes. So we're going to jump in the Jeep and make our way back down now. This is the Manitou Cliff Dwellings. now a visit to Garden of the Gods. Gorge. Good morning. Today we are in Hutchinson, Kansas, and I gotta tell you that last night, driving across Kansas, right as it got dark, we drove through the worst bug fields I have ever encountered. What's a bug field? Well, it's like when the sky is completely solid with bugs, and then you hit all of them. I can barely see out the windshield. Well, that's better. Can't say much for the mirrors or the grill. Check out these bugs and the lights. We made it to the Cosmosphere. An SR-71. Holy cow. Okay, so the Cosmosphere was pretty cool. I think I was more interested than anyone else, but I liked it nonetheless. She wanted to know when we were going to eat. And now we're 8 hours and 30 minutes from our next stop. This is more of a dad stop too, so we're gonna do that, and then hopefully we'll meet up with the motorhome sometime on this trip. We'll see, we're getting closer. Well, we spent about 9 hours driving last night, and we finally made it back into one of the I-states, Illinois to be specific. And you know what? It really feels like home. For some reason, when I get, back in the Midwest, it feels like home, especially here for whatever reason. But I can't hang around here right now. Before we can make it home, I gotta go find out if the RV is gonna come with us. So I'm gonna head back over there and check in on the RV. Maybe I can help get it back on the road. More driving for me right now. The girls are gonna hang out here for the day, and I hope to be able to join them, because there might be stuff to look at around here. I'm not sure. Wes has already got the new transmission installed. So while we got to spend our time in Colorado, Wes was working to get the transmission figured out in the RV. And I think if you head over to his channel, you might find a video showcasing the transplant in much more detail. But basically, the lead time to rebuild our transmission or source a reman could take over a month. So to get back on the road without a return trip out to Wes's to pick it back up, we'd have to go with the only option we had left, a good used transmission. Seeing how the rest of the motorhome was already in a well-used state, I didn't have a problem with it at all. There should be links above here on the screen and below in the description, but be sure to jump over to Wes's channel and give it a watch. And please do me a favor and pass along my appreciation for him helping us to continue on our trip with confidence. That is service right there.
With a smile.
It's like Austin Powers.
Water leaking out of something.
Sorry, my services don't include refrigerator repairs or services. Well, it seems to be good as new. Thank you. We just gotta get home.
Give you the tail light warranty.
It's easy to find and dwell on the sour things in life. The news is full of it, and negativity can dominate our thoughts and conversations all too often. But sometimes, we have the fortunate circumstance to be on the receiving end of undeserving goodwill from others, and you get a restored faith in humanity, only to realize that it had never really eroded in the first place. Good people and good news is all around us if we're willing to look. We'll remember this trip not for the unfortunate things that happened, but for all the generosity, kindness, and hospitality that made our trip memorable in spite of it. So John and Wes, my biggest hope is that I just get a chance to return the favor someday. These girls couldn't wait to get to see their kittens too, to see how much they've grown. Let's check it out. Look at this. Oh, these kitties have gotten so big. 12 days and they've grown so much. What is this? The pond has changed. It's a keg of beer. Oh, look, there's beer on the... It's got more water in it than when we left.
Yeah?
It looks good. Beach in a bag. These beers better be full. They're empty.
Is that a note on the raft?
Are you glad to be home?
Uh-huh.
Are you glad to be home?
There's so many weeds.
I know. Isn't that something?
Can we keep the raft
Yeah, I think we will.
and the flamingo?
Yeah. For sure.